Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Sandra in the City, the podcast. And oh my god, this is such a special episode because we're going to be talking about me and my debut single, A Few Nights, which just dropped this past Friday, January 10th, 2025. I feel like this is going to be a date that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life because I feel like it was a day that I decided to not give a fuck about what anyone else, including myself, like my very insecure and intrusive negative thought. I just decided to go for it and pursue something that I've been wanting to do for the longest time. So I decided that it would be fun to basically do like a self-interview kind of thing because, until the day that I'm invited to like Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel or whoever other Jimmy shows there are, I decided that I was not going to miss out on the opportunity to talk about something that is really special and important to me. And plus, I know you want the spiel. I have a cough drop in my mouth. A little ASMR for you. So I have a list of points that I wanted to discuss from the time of the writing to what inspired the song, the story behind it, and overall the consensus of how the release went and what is next. So sit down or do whatever you're doing when you listen to a podcast. Sometimes I listen to it while I'm working. I know my dad listens to them while he's driving. My boyfriend will lay down and just watch video podcasts. So whatever you need to do, enjoy the spiel. I thought that it would be good to start out with the writing process of it. I'm the type of musician / songwriter that starts songs with just the lyrics. And not only is this because I am not instrumentally talented. The only instrument I really know how to play is the piano. And even then, I would not compete against Beethoven. So yeah, I've always relied on my writing, but the thing is that from a very young age, even from middle school, I feel like I have had the memories that I have relied on writing as a way to just kind of cope and express myself and, just get things out of my system. So I would always find myself from a very young age just writing melodies and just writing words that would go with them. Melodies come to me super easily. And obviously with the melodies, it's the words. It's both of them. I'll think of a lyric. And so that's usually how my brain thinks at the time. I'll be saying something and I'll be like, wait, that's low-key? That would slap in a song. Writing has been a very fundamental part of my life for the longest time. It was just something that I never talked about or expressed. So I wouldn't blame you if you didn't know about that until now. And honestly, I just wanted to keep it that way because it was something so personal to me. And I mean, it still is. It's literally kind of think of it as a diary. But yeah, so I have been writing for the longest time. I just was not adamant about it, nor was I vocal about it. But I have written so many things. I had started writing a poetry book at one point, and I mean I still have the drafts and everything, and maybe in the future that will come out. But writing is just such a beautiful thing, words, man. Okay, but yeah, so I started out writing A Few Nights. This was written almost 3 years, I want to say. So this was written summer of 2022, and the first thing that I came up with was the bridge, the part that says, and I kept my word, I never told you how I really felt because I knew there was no point. And I remember when I came up with that, I usually always start writing off with the bridges or the chorus. It's either of the two. The verses always mess me up. I think they're the trickiest part for me when it comes to finishing a song. But for A Few Nights, I came up with the bridge first, and I was like, this is cool. And I thought that was going to be the chorus, but then I came up with the chorus. Sorry. Oh, wait, that's not cool. Oh, That's not cool. Like, the cough syrup just exploded on me, and there's, like, so much honey. Ugh. Sorry, that was, like, so gross. And I caught that entire thing on video. Anyways, so A Few Nights overall did not take that long to write, I would say. Sometimes, like, songs, like, either, will take a while to do just because either I don't touch them or the creativity is, like, not hitting in the spot for that song. But I feel like A Few Nights, I definitely finished it within a month, I would say. But it's not like I was working on it every day for, like, a month. Like, it's, like, one day I thought about the bridge, and then another day I thought about the chorus, and then I was like, bitch, let's sit down and, like, finish this, because at the time, with whatever the fuck I was going through, I really wanted to finish this song, so essentially I could use it to comfort me and just, self-expression or whatever. So yeah, I would say it was a little bit more one of, like, the faster songs that I have written, but it's definitely not the fastest. I wrote one song in under 20 minutes, and it was pretty good. Writing is very special to me, and I definitely, want to take this journey with, like, the music to be very focused on the lyricism. I definitely have noticed. You don't know that because you've only heard A Few Nights, but if, you paid attention to, kind of like the story that is being told and the way that it's being told from A Few Nights, I would like to consider myself a very specific type of storyteller with the music. So I think it's very cool, dude. After I had written the song, I really like this song. And again, because I'm not instrumentally talented, and at the time I didn't really know anyone who could help me make this song come to life, but I just knew in the bottom of my heart that I wanted to pursue this. Like, I had already written a couple of songs at this point, but they were, like, nothing too big for me to, like, want to pursue. I was just like, they're cool, but it's something that I know is cool, and I'm okay with just me knowing that they're cool. But with A Few Nights, I really liked the way, essentially the a cappella version of it sounded, and I really wanted to know what it would sound like as an entire song. Like, I just really wanted to get an instrumental for it. So, because I didn't know anyone, I did what someone would normally do on the internet. I looked up services. And so I found this company that is based in LA. Basically, the guy who produced Bleeding Love by Leona Lewis, not Ryan Tedder, but another guy who was part of that production. He owns his production company, and I basically inquired his services to produce A Few Nights along another song that we're not actually going to get into that. So I hired him to produce A Few Nights from, like, the sketch, which is basically what you start off with to see where it goes. And mind you, this was, like, my first ever, peek into what song production looks like, because at this point I did not know anything about that. All I knew was what I knew, which was how to write a song and then leaving as it is. So it was a very interesting learning experience, and obviously I'm grateful for it. But the thing about when you hire a service is that they give you full creative authority, and when someone gives you fully creative authority to do something that is yours and you want to do, that might sound like amazing because you have full creative direction, but I found it to be very challenging when you don't know what the fuck you're supposed to be looking for. Because mind you, I had references and an idea of what I kind of wanted the song to be based on, the lyrics and the melody. I knew it wasn't going to be a club song or a dancing song. Could it have been? I mean, probably. You can make music like anything. It is so universal. But I knew that I wanted to be, a reflective and sad song. But not too sad. I knew I didn't want it to be just like a piano minor scale song. I wanted to be like a production that would, like, make you in your feels. So yeah, those were some of the references that I gave this guy from the LA crew. So it took 6 months, I want to say, from like the whole production process on their end, like working with them to make the sound come to life. And I feel like the reason why it took so long is because, like, you know, the same way when you work with someone like from a distance, like the only way of communication that we would have would be emails or calls. So if like one of us took like a while to respond, obviously that delays the responses. That delays like the work and the progress. And obviously when the progress would be, you know, returned with whatever work they had done, most of the times there would be modifications to be done to the song, which obviously, you know, delays like the I mean, there was no deadline. I mean, I was gonna get the product whenever I was gonna get it, but you know, it's just a little bit of like a setback, but it's expected. What I'm saying is that it is harder and it's gonna take some time when you're working from a distance, rather than if like, you know, me and like, for example, my current producer just like meet for a day and like, you know, just spend however many hours we have to just like narrow down a song and like work on it and address like concerns and issues like from the get-go, rather than being like in between calls or like I missed your call, I missed your second or third call, whatever. So yeah, and I mean, obviously the money aspect of it is one thing. The music industry is not cheap, but you know what, this is something that I have been wanting to do for a while, and you live and you learn it. And a lot of people from that are, you know, already like in the industry have told me that the quality of A Few Nights is actually top tier. Like, I know you guys told me that you really like the song, and I appreciate that. I do. It was extra validating when people who, you know, have already produced songs and have years of experience like listen to the song with like full volume, you know, on blast, and being like, whoa, that's a cool synthesizer, or whatever the fuck terminology, you know, like cool transitions or whatever, like things, little details in a song that make like, you know, drastic differences, or just, you know, add a little bit touch, like things that they noticed, they were like, damn, that's really cool. So at the end of the day, I don't regret it at all. I don't work with this company anymore since I found a producer that is, you know, in the same city as me, and we have bonded even better than the people with LA. I feel like the people with LA, like, they didn't really like care too much about like my vision or whatever. Not that they really should. Like, at the end, I feel like it was just like it was a business transaction, but they left me with a really good song. So yeah, I feel like that's as much as I have to say about the production side of it, but it's actually really not hard to just like find someone who can make music for you if that's something that you're concerned about, because that's something that I, like, for the longest time was so worried about. I was like, I want to make music, but I don't know where to start because I don't know how to make beats. Like, I can't even play instruments that well, and even if I knew how to play instruments, like, I cannot come up with like beats for the life of me. So honestly, girl, just Google. Just Google it. The production of it was very much through like phone calls and whatnot, but in terms of like producing my vocals, I did go into a recording studio, and I really like Coda Room Audio, located in Westtown, I believe is the neighborhood. I feel like it's Westtown-ish, going to Wicker Park area. Anyways, really cool space, really good ambient. The place is owned by a Grammy winner, is what I meant to say. But really cool space. I have been going there for like all of my sessions, to be honest, to record vocals, and it is a very fun experience. It is such a fun time. Definitely one of my favorite places to be. But that is like the only place I want to say outside of like, you know, phones and emails that like I had to go somewhere to physically do the thing. So now that I had a great song, I mean, I feel like this is just kind of like my marketing degree title that I actually never earned, but I feel like I'm honored. You know, I got granted because of, you know, social media and like, you know, just my Instagramming and whatever. Anyways, I feel like because I have like a marketing brain, I knew the importance of how this song had to be presented rather than just being like out now. Because at the end, you know, a debut is really important. It was very important for me how I was going to present this song, how I was going to present something that was going to be so special to me. So that is when I made the decision to hire a marketing team, which surprise, is based in LA. But yeah, I found this team through TikTok actually. And at first I was just like following this guy on TikTok because he would post a lot of like marketing videos, but specifically tailored to musicians. And then I found out that he has a marketing company, and I just had like a consulting call to see if we would be a good fit for each other, you know, in terms of like them doing my marketing and just like planning out my content. And so I pursued that. I hired them, and I'm still working with them to this day. Hi, Anthony. So yeah, that definitely was a game changer. So if you were following me for, you know, a while, even from like last October, I want to say is when I hired them, you might have noticed a change and shift from, you know, whatever I was doing that might have been all over the place and maybe a little bit inconsistent to now a little bit more established, definitely more routine, consistent for sure, and, you know, more on brand. Like, I feel the visuals and the brand are much clearer, and, you know, overall the consistency. I'm reminding you that I exist. So it was very important for me to just have guidance and just kind of like invest in this one to know kind of, you know, how to tailor and just try to make this release that was so special to me as successful as it could be from what I could do, if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't think that you need a marketing team in order to, you know, play your cards right. I made that decision because I wanted essentially, obviously, you know, the services, which is, you know, planning out my content tailored specifically to me and my releases, because everything that I was seeing was already for artists that were already had their music out, like just prepping them for another new release. But this was like my debut. This was my first time introducing myself as an artist. So I invested in them because I wanted content that was specifically tailored to my current situation and where I was, and also networking, but also, you know, just overall guidance and building the relationship from people who, you know, are in, I want to call it the capital of, you know, music, of pop music specifically, which is where I'm trying to go into. It's these people who already have experience and, you know, are in the scene, which is essentially what, you know, I'm trying to get to learn from. But I don't think that you need a marketing team. Like, I think you just need discipline, which sometimes I lack, and also you need to do your research. Essentially, I needed to have a cover photo and, you know, essentially all of the visuals that would go with it. I needed to have a cover photo, like the single artwork that was going to be on the song. I needed to have video footage for, you know, potentially a music video, the canvas thingy on Spotify, you know, when like the song is playing and you see like a video in the background. I wanted to do that. And then, you know, just like my regular content for the gram and TikTok and whatnot. So yeah, my friend Hannah, sweetest girl ever, super talented photographer. She also has like a marketing brain, but she's more of a visual person. Super talented girl though. So anyways, she helped me plan and just like, she took all of my shots for everything that was related to A Few Nights. We went out to dinner, and afterwards, we went to our friend Sophia's rooftop because she had a very clear view of like the Willis Tower and just like the landscape, and it was going to be perfect. The only problem was that this day that we were planning to do our shoot, it was fucking foggy as hell, and you could not see the Willis Tower for shit. And I was like, bro, I mentioned the Willis Tower in my song, like she has to be in the cover photo, you know what I mean? So we were like, fuck, you know what, we're just gonna have to work with what we have. You could see the John Hancock Tower though, so we were like, you know what, a lot of these people would not be able to tell the difference, so it's fine. At the end of the day, it's a landscape, and I'm not even going to be too picky about it. And I don't want to risk it photoshopping shit. So, yeah, we took our photo on a fucking cold-ass, foggy, windy day in the windy city. And, yeah, after we took our photos, then that's when we just started shooting, like, all types of videos. So, I mean, it was already kind of, like, late for me to do, like, a whole-ass, like, music video, because it was something that her and me were gonna, like, edit. Like, she was gonna do the color correcting and grading, and I was gonna do the actual, like, editing of the clips to see what goes where, you know. But music videos are tough, and we did not have that kind of time. So instead, what I'm gonna do, because I haven't posted it yet, is that I'm gonna do kind of like just a visuals video. So it's not the same as a music video, but it's still gonna be visuals. So anyway, she helped me shoot that, and then we also did the canvas thing. So the thing that we wanted to encapsulate, obviously, was, you know, kind of like keeping like the purple pinkish hues scheme with the sky. It's so beautiful. So on Spotify, when you play the song and you see the canvas, so it's like some shots of, you know, the Riverwalk in Chicago, and like the trains are passing, and then, you know, there's some clips of me, and it's all supposed to be very like dreamy and melancholic, because I feel like that's just the vibe of the song. But anyways, it took only one night. I feel like that it took like maybe like 4 hours, 3 of shooting out in the cold. We were fucking freezing. I was like so certain that I was gonna get sick the next day, but thankfully I didn't, because I'm immune. So the inspiration behind A Few Nights, I mean, I have my favorite artists. I'm a very big music person. I'm a very big pop culture person too, but I'm a very big music person. So for A Few Nights, I mean, I was just inspired, obviously, by songs that get you in your feels. So, you know, kind of like All Too Well by like Taylor Swift, or, you know, some like Driver's License by like Olivia Rodrigo. Just kind of like very melancholic stuff. I knew that going into the sound of it, and also obviously I already covered the lyricism. That was literally just like kind of like self-expression, just based on what you know, what was happening at the time and like how I felt. So, with that being said, the story behind A Few Nights, if you had asked me, like, maybe, like, you know, obviously, I was going to say, like, 3 years ago, but, yeah, you know, closer to the time when I wrote this thing, I probably, you know, would have, like, exaggerated and just, like, overshared information regarding this. But point being is, there was, you know, an experience, a connection that was made, and for me it felt like it was just kind of like a right person, wrong time frame. But at the end of the day, I feel like it was just like, you know, two people met each other, they had fun, and then the fun stopped, and I hurt my own feelings, and I wrote a song about it. I have been writing songs for like a long time, and it was just not a public thing that I had made out. Like, hell, even just kind of like the thought at the time of like putting this out there with the possibility of whoever this is inspired by to hear it. I don't think, first of all, one, that they would listen to it, and even if they were to listen to it too, that they would, you know, kind of like get the clue that it's about them. And third of all, other people already do this. So, like, what the fuck am I afraid of? Like, what's the point? Selena Gomez had this, like, said this once in her documentary. And she was like, what's the point of having a great song if I'm too afraid to sing it? And so there was just a lot of going back and forth between me and my insecurities of wanting, you know, to pursue music. Because I don't know who the fuck implanted this into my head, but I just had this feeling for like the longest time, like years, like, you know, this entire time that I was just like writing in private to myself. I would just tell myself that, you know, what I did was, I would have thought that it was good, but it was not good enough for it to be a public thing. Like, it was just not going to be good enough to be perceived by the public, and hence it should just stay inside and stay closeted. Stay, you know, here with us, just between us. So yeah, I mean, I don't know who instilled this with me, but for some reason, like songwriting and even singing, like for the longest time, I did not think that I was a good singer, to be honest. And if you don't think that I'm a good singer, don't tell me that, because I will say that I don't believe you. And I really don't. I feel like my confidence, like with singing, has definitely gone up so much higher, but I don't think that I'm going to be Ariana Grande tomorrow. But yeah, I feel like because it was something that was so, important to me and so sacred, that I did not want to open the door to anyone to receive neither positive feedback nor get negative feedback. I was okay with the fact that, if I kept this with myself, that I was okay with not opening the door. I would essentially be saving myself from negative feedback and obviously positive feedback. So it was a long battle with myself to, basically decide, because I'm not getting any younger. And okay, I don't want to say that, there's like an age to do certain things and then there's not, because, you all have seen that post that says like Vera Wang did not design her first dress until she was 40. The guy from KFC was like suffering with like very bad depression and just, thoughts before he opened up KFC. And I think the McDonald's guy also opened up the franchise very late in his life. So it's actually never too late to start something. But I don't want to say but at the same time, I was just like, I'm not getting any younger. And I was thinking too, some of these songs that I have written, like, they're past kind of like my point. Like some of these songs that I have written like years ago, I feel like they're a little bit too juvenile even for them to come out now. Even though I think they're good, like I just don't think that they're very relevant, like especially in the stage of the life that I'm in right now, So I was like, I had to sit down and talk to myself. Just kidding. But I had to like really like just get serious with myself and be like, okay, Sandra, this is how it's going to be. If we don't pursue this music thing at all, are you going to be okay with being 90 years old one day and being okay with yourself that you didn't pursue it? Like, was I going to be able to forgive myself if one day I'm in my deathbed? And would I be able to forgive myself for the fact that I never pursued my dreams? So that hit home for me, because I was, I would just kind of like think about it and I would be like, fuck no, I would have wanted to at least have tried. And because I knew that the answer was, I wish I would have tried. And then I look back at present me right now. Well, I'm still young, beautiful, and hot and sassy. I was like, then why don't we? So we did. And I was very scared to do it. I'm still scared at the fact that it's out, but I'm less scared. I feel a little bit more brave. And the positive feedback has been obviously very welcoming and very appreciative, and very validating for sure. It just kind of like, today, for example, I was thinking, I don't know what I was so scared of. Like, I want to do this again. I want to release another song. But, well, I'll get to that in a minute because it was actually very stressful. But, I just had to get really serious with myself and be like, what am I sacrificing my dreams for? Like, why would I not pursue something that, makes me happy? Like, why would I not share that with the world? Because I think I'm not good enough? And who the fuck do I think I am to say that I'm not good enough? You know what I mean? So that was something that, I decided for myself. I was like, you know what? If you're going to regret not pursuing this, and you are going to pursue this, it's okay to do it even though you're scared. It's actually the best time to do it even though you're scared. I feel like there's so much braveness into it, Just that little bit of courage is what I hung on to. And I don't regret it at all. I just released the song yesterday. So it's been, almost 2 days since A Few Nights has been out. And it's just, I'm proud of myself. And I think little me, even like, from when I was like 10 years old watching Hannah Montana to like even almost 3 years ago when I wrote this song, like I think those past versions of myself would be really proud because we were really scared. We were really scared of doing anything related to this, like, showing our songs in public, singing even, because again, to paraphrase, like we thought we were bad singers. So I am really proud that I did this. So when people tell me that they're really proud of me, I share that sentiment because it was not an easy thing to do. And it sounds silly, but I was really scared going into this. For what? I don't know. I feel like it's the same way that some people are afraid of cockroaches. Maybe not, but you know what I mean. Like any other thing, because I'm a fabulous girl, I knew that I wanted to have a fabulous party to go with my release. So I had a release party. And oh my God, this was kind of like a stressful thing because there were so many things that just kind of like, they didn't work out at the end. I had to change my venue and then just like tiny details. I wanted to have a cake, and at the end, I didn't have my cake because the bakery that I would go to, aka the Whole Foods bakery, they don't do custom cakes anymore because they're short-staffed, which totally understandable. So Amazon, you need to, hire and compensate your workers more fairly. But that was like the least of my worries, and I think it worked out for the better. So I had my release party yesterday, the same day that A Few Nights got released, at Brando's Karaoke Bar in Lincoln Park, and it was such a great time. I performed my song, which I was hella nervous to do, but we did it either way. People clapped. I was afraid that someone was going to boo, but my friends told me that if someone booed, that they were going to tell them to shut the fuck up and maybe slap them. Just kidding. We're not violent. But yeah, so it was a great time overall. My friends told me that I did well, and I was like, you would tell me if I didn't do well, right? And they would be like, yeah, we would have told you that, it wasn't your best performance, but it was okay. But they told me I did well, so that's comforting to hear. But overall, it was just a great night, obviously celebrating with some of the closest people important to me. I didn't invite, obviously everyone that I would have wanted to, but I feel like I wanted my release to be just kind of be a little bit more intimate and just, kind of like test the waters, and whoever else was at that karaoke bar that day. But I said that's so funny. Whoever else was at the karaoke bar that day. But it was a great time, honestly. I think it worked out for the better, and it was overall a really nice way to celebrate with the people that I love. As I mentioned earlier, releasing the song was very stressful. I would still say to this day, even now that it's out, it was more stressful than it was exciting, to be honest. Like, there was just so many tiny details that had to be done before then. So I don't want to get into too many boring details about it, but just like think about it like this. Like, you have to get a music distributor, and like they have to like review your song, and the cover photo. So I will say this, because the cover photo, so the single artwork, was the thing that like stressed me the fuck out the most. And that was because me and Hannah, my photographer friend, had our photo shoot very close to the release date. So that's on me, honestly. No, it has nothing to do with her. That's on me for my poor time management skills. But at the same time, it's me. I was late to my own release party, so I should tell you something. But yeah, so when I uploaded my song to my music distributor, who is Amuse, I had to upload this so that they could review essentially like the sound and basically, give them time to review it and approve it in case there are any discrepancies. And nothing happened. Like, they reviewed my song pretty quickly, but the thing is that you cannot upload the song without a photo. And I wasn't sure if I could edit it again, but then I found out that you could. So I just uploaded a really random, nice photo of myself because it had to be good quality. But anyways, this is to basically for them to like see if there are any samples or like copyrighted materials in it. Just, is to ensure that what distributing is good. And they approved it in like 2 days. So that was fantastic. Anyways, so I put in the request to change my single artwork because I couldn't manually do it. And basically what happened was that it did not get changed on time before the release. So Friday, when the song was out and people were posting about it, it came out with the photo that was not meant to be in the single, and people were posting it. And I posted it, I shared it because, the support was nice and it's something that I was proud of, but it wasn't the fucking photo that I wanted for my song. And I know that sounds so silly, but this is like my first impression that I'm giving you as an artist. So it's like, sorry, that might have been a little bit like high pitched, but it stressed me out, dude. Like, it bugged me so much. I stayed up past midnight to see whether it was going to get changed or not. And even then, I just like stayed up past midnight on like Thursday going to Friday to ensure that, the sound was good and to see that the photo had not been changed. But yeah, I realized that the song was not on Apple Music. So I had to open another ticket with my music distributor, Muse, to essentially see what is up. So I'm sorry to my Apple listeners. I know that is very frustrating for you as it is for me because I was not expecting that. It was very stressful, to be honest. There was just so many tiny details. Like, I had to make sure that the lyrics would be available everywhere. And then, for example, in TikTok, like, I have to go back and see which 1 minute snippet of the song is going to be included, since like the whole thing cannot be uploaded, or maybe it can. I just have to go out of my way to seek that. So it's just a lot of tiny details. And for a one-man show, woman show, and for a one person, that is a lot. I don't have a manager. Like, I have a marketing team, I have a vocal coach, and then I have, my producer. But in terms of like, the actual execution of things, it's just me. And unfortunately, I cannot clone myself yet. But yeah, so it was very stressful, but I think it was a very rewarding thing to be able to hear myself. And obviously, I have analytics now, which are slowly but surely gonna be updating. Obviously, this is only the beginning of this very exciting journey, and I'm very happy that, A Few Nights has been received so well already, and I'm very much looking forward to, exploring my sound and sharing that with you, in the very early stages of my music journey. But yeah, this year is definitely going to be filled with a lot more releases from me. So I'm not going to say when, but I already know when the second one is going to come out. So you're just going to have to stay tuned. But for now, you're just going to have to wait a few more nights. Just kidding. I really tried so hard to do a pun. But yeah, thank you so much for streaming A Few Nights if you have already. And if you haven't, why the fuck have you listened this long? Just kidding. Thank you for being here. But go stream A Few Nights, add it to a playlist, and share with your friends, and support local or whatever. And you can say that, you knew about her. You knew about me before I won my first Grammy or whatever. Just kidding. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me in my self-interview. I hope that, you found this to be interesting and you learned maybe, I don't know, something about the music industry. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you have that option. I know that you have that option in Spotify. I don't know about Apple. But yeah, thank you so much for following along. Make sure to stream A Few Nights, follow the podcast, give both of them a good rating if you can. I don't think you can give artist a rating. No. But anyways, I will talk to you next week. Stream A Few Nights.